Kyle, we've invited you on the show numerous times. You won't do it. Now, I often am very respectful when I talk to these people and I say, I don't mind. I'm not going to cry when Hassan Piker refuses to come on the show, and he does. Or when Kyle Kulinski says, sure, maybe, but then doesn't, or the same thing with David Pakman. We've been trying to get these people in here forever.
This Tim Pool Kyle Kulinski beef is starting to heat up. Let's see what Tim Pool has to say.
Can the left build their own Joe Rogan? I see this clip from the Majority Report. Kyle Kulinski and Emma Vigeland talking about Joe Rogan, why Kyle Kulinski is going to war with Joe Rogan and everything he has, all of the issues he has with the man. And in it, Emma Vigeland says that she went on my show with the intention of never getting invited back. Emma, you are always invited to come on this show. It's a laugh riot, and we enjoy having you. Because when these liberals come on these shows, their ideas fall apart, and we're totally here for it. In this viral clip, Kyle Kulinski basically says that Joe Rogan used to nod along with the leftist things he was saying, and then he'd have Ben Shapiro on and nod along with him as well, because Joe Rogan's a moderate. But he's like, it makes me look like a fool because he was just lying the whole time. They claim that Joe Rogan's simply laundering propaganda. I got news for you guys. Perhaps you are wrong. If everywhere you go, you smell dog poop, perhaps you should look at your boot. But let me lay into these liberal pundits who, Kyle, we've invited you on the show numerous times. You won't do it. Now, I often am very respectful when I talk to these people and I say, I don't mind. I'm not going to cry when Hassan Piker refuses to come on the show, and he does. Or when Kyle Kulinski says, sure, maybe, but then doesn't, or the same thing with David Pakman. We've been trying to get these people in here forever. I don't complain because they host their own shows. People ask me to do their shows all the time, and I just can't do it. I do host a show with guests, and we do debates on the culture war, so we've created a space here where we can do it. But that doesn't mean Kyle Kulinski owes me anything. And if he's going to be hosting his own show and can't travel, I get it. I respect it. Now, that being said, there are a lot of conservative personalities, even big names, who will forego going on their shows to periodically come on Timcast IRL. So I don't think it's all that great of an excuse, but I will be nice. Let's play this clip, and then we'll debunk and criticize the left's lies and their criticisms of Joe Rogan.
Then you're fake independent media. You're not real independent media. And I'm now going to war because what we saw is a lot of these people like Joe Rogan, you know, I was there. I was on his show 4 or 5 times. He would sit there and nod in agreement when I would make anti-Trump arguments and arguments in favor of a left-wing worldview. Then 3 weeks later, Ben Shapiro would come on and say the exact opposite of me on every issue, and he would nod along in agreement.
And see, let me just start by debunking this. Certainly, if you make an argument to Joe and you say, actually, I think, we should have universal basic income for these reasons, he can go, oh, yeah, that's interesting. You know, that makes a lot of sense. Then Ben Shapiro can come on and say, well, I certainly don't agree with having a universal basic income because, I mean, first of all, you can't spend other people's money. And then Joe will be like, that's a good point, too. Like, who's going to do the labor? Joe can entertain the ideas and explain why good points are being made. He's a moderate. I'll tell you this. Famously, Dave Rubin went on Joe Rogan's show and said something about building regulation. And Joe was like, what are you talking about? When Joe thinks that something doesn't make sense or there's not a good argument, he does challenge it. So let's not pretend that's not the case.
Right. And so at some point, you got to call a spade a spade. You're not independent media, and you're clearly just a vibes-based voter, right? You cocooned yourself in this right-wing echo chamber where you got right-leaning UFC people and right-leaning comedians, and Dana White, his boss, is super right-wing and loves MAGA. He put himself in this echo chamber. COVID helped to break his brain.
Cope harder, Kyle. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself why RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Joe Rogan, Tim Pool, Dave Rubin, I mean, come on, the list goes on and on of all of the people who have left the left because the left went nuts. Elon Musk, Colin Wright, need I say more? Now, don't get me started on the classical liberal types who are too scared to say they left the left, whatever. You can leave the left and still be a coward. That's fine. But these people can't seem to get it through their skulls. Perhaps the skulls are too thick. There's a reason why people are saying the left has gone nuts. And it's not that they're trapped in a right-wing echo chamber. You guys are in a cult is the problem. You can't seem to fathom that All of these people recognizing similar things. Emma Vigeland came on my show, The Culture War, and defended adult graphic materials for children. Come on, nobody agrees with that. Lance.
I mean, absolutely. It absolutely is a cult, and they always project and they always say that MAGA is a cult. But no, because we could disagree with our cult leader, Donald Trump. We could disagree with him just fine. And no one is pushed out of MAGA or anything like that, what have you. But with the left, any little bit of dissent, oh, all of a sudden you're right wing. Oh, you're a right wing extremist now. Oh, what are you, MAGA now? Oh, yeah, you agree with 99% of our opinions, but there's one opinion you disagree with. Oh, you're out of the club now. Which again is fine, because the more people they push out of the club, the more people they push into our club. What do you guys think about that? Sound off in the comment section below. Let's continue.
Serfs came on and said a woman should be allowed to get an abortion whenever she wants. And I said, even at 9 months, like whenever, it's her choice. And I said, can she do meth? And he goes, no, because that would intentionally kill the baby. What? You see, it's moments like that where the left is exposed for having miserable ideas. Now, don't get me wrong. The weird thing is, I'm still largely a liberal guy myself. That's right. I've long said I'm probably like a traditional or social liberal, meaning I actually do think there can be successful government programs and there can be successful welfare programs. And I think there needs to be regulation. I just think we're well overregulated and our programs are broken and we need to weed out corruption. But these people act like their ideas are unique to them, but they're so wrapped up in their cult, they can't listen to anybody else. So I go on Piers Morgan, and this woman says something deranged. This lady goes, Tim Pool's a COVID denier who then got COVID and sought ivermectin, which is absolutely 100% false. But guess what? You knew that because you watched this show. And no, I never denied COVID. I did get COVID. I rejected ivermectin. I told Joe Rogan I didn't think it did anything. And I have to be honest, I still don't think it does. I'm not a doctor, okay? I talked to a doctor. Joe responded, no, it's a protease inhibitor. And that stops the virus. And I'm like, I think it's largely that the people who were taking it were being cured of their parasites and worms in these other countries. So it did look like it was having a profound effect on COVID. That seems to make more sense to me. Joe argued with me about it. But this guy's lying. Kyle, you are in a cult.
And then look at that. He goes full MAGA. And you know what? That makes me look like a jackass because I
mean, absolutely. I mean, first of all, it's funny that Tim Pool criticizes people who identify as classical liberals because they're too afraid to say that, oh, they've left the left or whatever. But then Tim Pool goes on to say he's a traditional liberal. Which, I mean, listen, I agree. I don't think Tim Pool's a conservative by any means. I would say he's one of the actual, probably moderates out there. But I just found that funny. But these people are losing it. The left are absolutely losing it. And ever since the 2024 election concluded, they have been on this downhill breakdown of denial, trying to find explanations or making excuses for why their side is losing, or why their side lost and is continuing to lose. And they just can't help to. There are some people who are starting to wise up, and at the very least, even if they are being insincere about it, at least they seem to be disavowing this extreme left ideology. But you have some people of here like Emma Vigeland, that's how you say her name, and Kyle Kulinski, who are still in denial. And again, the more they stay in denial, the more it's better for us. And I am here for it. I am here to watch these crazy lefties break down and continue to lose their mind. That's what this channel is here for. And if you enjoyed today's content, I urge you to subscribe to my channel, give this video a like, and I got more goodies for you on the screen so you could binge away and enjoy.